Christine Brown, star of Sister Wives, faced criticism for her strange actions in relation to her daughter Mykelti's plans to move. The fact that her daughter is moving away from her does not appear to please her. Fans, however, believe the reality TV personality was merely acting hypocritically. Christine always made an effort to come across as a loving mother. She enjoys spending time with her children and is quite close to them. The TLC personality frequently takes her kids on vacation and shares their happy times with her followers. When Christine moved on with David Woolley, her family had conflicting opinions. The adjustment was difficult for some of her daughters to embrace. However, they supported their mother in every circumstance and embraced their stepdad. Is Christine acting self-centeredly? Why is she being criticized by fans? It took Christine Brown a long time to leave the poly family structure. She was raised in a big polygamous family for a long period. The Sister Wives star was therefore rather anxious about moving out. Thankfully, Christine was able to feel at ease thanks to her kids. They continued to have the same bond and visited her often. But when Mykelti revealed her intentions to go to North Carolina, the reality TV star was taken aback. As she said her daughter farewell, Christine broke down in tears. She was devastated that she would not be able to see her grandkids grow up. The reality TV personality revealed that it was heartbreaking for her that her kid will no longer be a drive away. Mykelti's decision about her husband's work even earned her the title of Wife of the Century from Christine. When Mykelti moved to North Carolina, Christine Brown was unable to control her emotions. The thought of her daughter leaving her was extremely upsetting to her. Mykelti made her significant choice for her own reasons. She wished for her kids to grow up with relatives. In order for her children to often visit Janelle's daughter, Maddie, the reality TV star chose North Carolina. Mykelti also hopes Tony's chess career is successful. But the audience wasn't pleased with Christine's response. They believed she wasn't helping her daughter. Rather, the Sister Wives actress was manipulating her feelings and subtly disparaging Tony. Additionally, several fans thought Christine was more worried about Mykelti's proximity to Janelle. Losing her kids and grandkids to distance but also to Janelle, an admirer commented. She neglected to drag her children around the map for Kody, according to a different user. They attacked her, disparaging her own daughter for relocating solely due to her feelings. The moment Kody relocated his whole family in order to keep them together is still remembered by many. Fans believe Christine ought to help her daughter more as a result. Mykelti has several motives for relocating to North Carolina. However, supporting Tony as he pursues his chess career is her top focus. Supporters said that for the sake of his daughter, Christine ought to have at least pretended to be happy. Some of her supporters defended her, saying she was just expressing her emotions. Drama has always been a part of the Brown family, but even her most loyal followers are split over Christine Brown's most recent dramatic outburst. Mykelti Padron, Christine's daughter, reveals a huge life shift in next week's Sister Wives episode, setting off a tense storm that has everyone talking due to her mother's furious response. Although Christine has long been the favorite of Kody's ex-wives, her most recent tirade could have gone too far. Her actions have drawn criticism for being controlling, overly emotional, and even hypocritical, particularly in light of her own history of fleeing Flagstaff in search of freedom. Why would Christine, who is often gregarious and vivacious, strike out so angrily? The solution is buried deep in the Brown family's complicated past, where years after their legendary breakup, love, independence, and remorse continue to clash. Here's a detailed explanation of what goes on behind the scenes and why Christine may be upset over more than simply distance in her reaction to Mykelti's plans to move. Mykelti Padron, Meri Brown, and her husband Tony have a supposed informal video conference with Christine in the next episode. Mom Tony and I have been thinking for a while, and we've decided to move to North Carolina, Mykelti says, looking both anxious and excited. Christine's smile quickly wavers. Before Mykelti can even clarify, Christine blurts out, "You're joking, right?" her eyes widening and her tone stiffening. You can't be sincere. The call soon becomes sentimental. In an attempt to remain upbeat, Mykelti explains that the move is about a fresh start, because Tony has a new career opportunity and the couple wants to raise their twins in a more tranquil and reasonably priced area. Christine, however, can't conceal her surprise. She notes that since Christine left Kody and the rest of the family behind in Flagstaff, Mykelti has been one of the few kids to stay physically close to her in Utah. With a broken voice, Christine declares, "You're my person. You helped me get through everything I had to deal with Kody. You must be here for me. I can't let you go either. However, Mykelti sees this as an opportunity to start her own life rather than to leave her mother behind. She is adamant, "Mom, I love you, but I can't stay just because you don't want to be alone." Since Christine has had a challenging few years adjusting to life following her divorce, fans may first identify with her melancholy. However, when Christine's melancholy turns into rage, the discussion abruptly changes course. She yells, "You're making the same mistakes I did. You believe that relocating across the nation will bring you happiness. It won't. You'll become as alone as I was in Flagstaff. You'll be sorry." Mykelti appears astonished. She reminds her mother that Christine's own move was not a flight from family, but rather an effort to escape Kody's influence. Christine, however, is not interested in hearing it. She starts to seem abrasive, defensive, and even accusatory. She contends, "You have a support system here. I'm yours. Why would you discard that?" For spectators, this is the point at which Christine's feelings conflate control with worry. Her intensity is more akin to terror, a fear of being abandoned once more, than to maternal love. Fans of Sister Wives quickly responded on the internet. After a preview clip of the incident aired, social media was ablaze with conflicting views within hours. Some admirers sympathized with Christine's emotional response, stating that she is still recovering from years of feeling ignored and undervalued. One fan wrote on Twitter, "She just wants her family close." She naturally fears losing more of the people she loves after what Kody did to her. Others, however, were much less understanding. Viewers criticized Christine on Reddit and Facebook, calling her self-centered, hypocritical, and even Kody-like. One commenter stated, "Christine preached independence for years. She's attempting to guilt-trip her into staying now that Mykelti has the same desire. Kody used to treat her just like that. She's acting like the victim again," said another. "Mykelti is free to desire her own life. Christine ought to feel proud rather than possessive." Fans are wondering if Christine's newfound confidence has evolved into a yearning to control the lives of her adult children, despite the fact that she has always been honest about her feelings. The criticism has been intense. According to people close to the Brown family, Christine's strong emotional response stems from her dread of losing Mykelti, not merely from her leaving Utah. Christine reconstructed her entire identity around independence, children, and a new relationship with David Woolley following her breakup with Kody. But she's noticing that her network of support is getting smaller as her children become older and begin to live on their own. Mykelti has been one of Christine's emotional pillars for years. She supported Christine's friendship with David, assisted her in leaving the multiple marriage, and regularly posts alongside her mother on social media. Christine would be devastated to lose that everyday connection. One insider disclosed she went from being surrounded by a massive family to being on her own. She fears that her happiness, which she has at last discovered, may disappear. Mykelti's departure feels like a reenactment of the past, like someone else leaving her life. Christine doesn't necessarily want Mykelti to be content. She fears the silence that will result from Mykelti's absence. The mother-daughter conflict erupts in the follow-up show the following week. In an attempt to make amends, Mykelti chooses to meet Christine face-to-face, but the encounter devolves into yet another emotional stalemate. Christine says, "I've been thinking about your move," in an attempt to begin quietly, but her annoyance soon returns. "How you could do this while we're all in one location at last is beyond me. You are my daughter. You should be near each other." Mykelti doesn't give up easily. "You're not listening, Mom," she adds softly. "You've been urging everyone to follow their happiness and live authentically. What I'm doing is that." Mykelti interrupts Christine as she continues to insist that it's different. "It isn't any different. You started over after leaving a poisonous setting. I'm just getting started in my own unique manner. Don't make me feel bad about that, please." Both parties cry as the altercation comes to an end. Christine understands that she is doing exactly what she feared most, driving her daughter away. She sobs and says, "I just don't want to lose you." "You will not," Mykelti assures. "But you must allow me to develop." Following the heated exchange, David Woolley intervenes later in the episode to console Christine. As she vents and paces their living room, he listens to her calmly. "I simply don't understand her leaving at this time. At last, everything is going well." She doesn't want to hear that, but David, who is always composed, says it, "You have to let her go, sweetie. She's pursuing her own happiness, just like you did. She learned that from you." Christine is stopped in her tracks by the words. She recognizes that her fury has been based on fear rather than reason, and she sits down with tears in her eyes. David reminds her that being a good mother includes letting her children make their own decisions, even if those decisions are painful at times. You won't lose her, David murmurs. You're simply allowing her to survive. It's a silent but impactful scene that serves as a reminder to viewers that Christine's quest for self-awareness is still ongoing. She's still learning how to let go of her own need for control, even after breaking free from Kody's hold. By the end of the show, Christine makes an emotional and honest appearance on camera. She acknowledges, "I think I reacted out of fear. After feeling alone for so long, I wanted to keep my family close. However, I must have faith that Mykelti is aware of what is best for her." Online discussion is rekindled by the confession. Her self-awareness is praised by some followers, who see it as evidence that she remains the relatable, changing woman they have always liked. Others argue that it is insufficient and that she should offer her daughter a sincere apology rather than merely a contemplative one. One reader wrote, "She still made Mykelti feel bad for wanting independence. It would be very beneficial to apologize." In the meantime, Mykelti posts a charming picture of her family getting ready for the move on social media, writing, "New chapter, saying love." Below, fans see Christine's comment, "I'm always proud of you, I love, regardless of where you are." The two appear to have reconciled, at least in public. However, the emotional wounds from the dispute and the subsequent public censure are probably going to persist. Conversations on empty nest syndrome, or the loneliness that many parents experience when their children grow up and move out, have also been rekindled by Christine's emotional collapse. Years of emotional neglect in her multiple marriages have exacerbated this sentiment for Christine. She has devoted so much of herself to motherhood that she is now experiencing a fresh identity issue as her children start living on their own. Without her children relying on her, who is Kody Brown? Fans think that the answer to this question will influence the course of her upcoming Sister Wives adventure. Will she be able to use that energy in her marriage to David, or will she still find it difficult to let go? Christine's tale this season is fundamentally about love, fear, and the difficult process of learning to let go, not just anger. Although her emotional response to Mykelti's move may have come across as harsh, it is actually based on a very human fear of losing connection. Naturally, the irony lies in the fact that Christine has consistently been the family's strongest supporter of independence. She instilled in her kids the values of independence, pursuing pleasure, and never settling for less than what they are worthy of. Mykelti's decision to leave is evidence of her mother's influence rather than a betrayal. Finally, through tears and whispers, Christine says, "I guess I did raise strong women after all," as the program comes to a conclusion and she watches old videos of her kids laughing. Though a true criticism, Kody Brown's emotional outburst over Mykelti's relocation plans also revealed another side of herself, a woman who is still growing, learning, and human. She is the mother who has the guts to own up to her faults, and who loves with an intensity that can occasionally be too much. Her experience still reflects that of innumerable parents who find it difficult to strike a balance between love and forgiveness. As Christine attempts to mend her relationship with Mykelti and possibly find a new peace in the process, next week's Sister Wives promises even more emotional consequences. Because even though the Brown family lives hundreds of miles away, love is the glue that keeps them together despite the fact that it might be complicated.